Spain, España, which used to be the second most visited country all over the world behind France before, you know, the whole pandemic stuff, because it's such a fascinating country. There's a lot to see, a lot to do, and a lot to eat, especially paella. I love paella. But what you should not do is roam internationally here, and that's because international roaming can be super expensive. And that's why I recommend getting yourself a Spanish SIM card, and they are very, very affordable, and they give very generous data allowances. So what are the options here? How much do things cost? And what are the plans offered to you? So let's find out in this Spain SIM card buying guide. Hi, it's Otto from Phone Travelers here, where we talk about everything related to traveling with your phone, such as buying a SIM card in Spain. And if videos like this sound interesting to you, make sure to subscribe to this channel. Like always, I'm gonna give you a quick summary, which I used to call a 1-minute summary, and it always went over 1 minute, just to give you an overview of what to expect and what to know about Spanish SIM cards. So in Spain, you have 4 main operators, which are Movistar, Orange, Vodafone, and Yoigo. You also have a lot of MVNOs, mobile virtual network operators, but they are not really worth your time because of throttled speeds and not full access to the networks of the big 4 that I just mentioned. SIM card prices range between 10 to 40 euro because they use euro here in Spain, and there are some tourist SIM cards out there and they cost 15 euro and 25 euro. Be aware that SIM card registration is mandatory here in Spain, so you have to show your passport or your ID if you come from another EU member state. If you buy or register a Spanish SIM cards are also sold at Barcelona and Madrid international airports at, well, inflated prices, I have to say. 5G NR is available in Spain, and they are also offered to prepaid customers, at least with most mobile operators. And as I mentioned in the introduction, data allowances are very, very generous here in Spain. So if you already think that, okay, well, I got everything I need to know, all good, make sure to like this video, and I will see you next week. And if you think, well, there's much more to know, which it is, because, well, this video is much longer than what we just watched so far, stick to the end and I will tell you much more. But before we actually focus on Spanish SIM cards, I actually want to mention one thing, because Spain is part of the European Union, EU, meaning that if you have another EU SIM card, let's say a SIM card from Spain or Greece or whatever, and you go to Spain, in most cases you can roam for free, which is great. And the same applies for using Spanish SIM cards in other EU countries, meaning that, well, if you just travel to Spain from, let's say, the Netherlands for a week, you can use your main SIM card. But if you're actually planning on living here, let's say as a student, then you better get yourself a SIM card because of regulations. And that's why I love the EU. Alright, so earlier I mentioned that we have four that was embarrassing, that we have 4 main operators here in Spain, which are Movistar, Orange Spain, Vodafone Spain, and Yoigo, and of course Movistar Spain. And Movistar is quite interesting because they are very big in Central and South America, but in Spain it's actually a Spanish mobile operator. It's only just one country, which, well, it is what it is. So how much will SIM cards cost you? Well, usually you only have 1 to 2 different starter packs. In the case of Movistar, you have 2 costing you 10 and 25 euro. And the same applies for Orange, 10, 25. Vodafone, you actually have 4 different options because you cannot just buy a SIM card itself, you have to buy it together with a plan. There are 5 different options, 10, 15, 20, 30 and 40 euro. And Yoigo is actually the one that actually sells your SIM card like that for 10 euro, but most often they want you to buy a plan as well. As I mentioned, there are plenty of MVNOs out there, I think about 6 to 8 that are easily accessible to travelers. What I mean with that you can just go to a store and buy a SIM card without you having to order it online and wait 1 to 3 days before it arrives at your accommodation. So what about the tourist SIM cards? I mentioned that tourist SIM cards are available, which is true, and they are offered by Orange. Orange has the holiday pass, and they have 2 options, 15 euro and 25 euro. And they come with these perks that I'm showing you on the screen, which are actually quite generous. And with the data, with the SIM cards of the other mobile operators I mentioned earlier, you often get credit or some data as well. So it's not just 10 euro for a SIM card and get nothing, you usually get credit as well. A little bit later on, we will be talking about the plans, and I will also tell you the prices. But I actually want to let you know that the average cost of 1 gigabyte of data here in Spain is about 60 USD per gigabyte, which is actually quite cheap. In fact, Spain is the 9th cheapest country for mobile data in Europe of the 39 on the cable.co.uk leaderboard. And from a global perspective, it's on the 35th place and it's like one of the 55 countries where the average cost of 1 gigabyte of data is less than 1 USD. So Spain is actually doing a very good job. Speaking of prices, if you go to my lookup tool at ptw.link/price, you can easily use the tool where you just fill in a country, let's say Spain or Portugal, and then you can see all the SIM card prices of each mobile operator offered in the country. Very cool, and it's free, of course. Alright, so where to get yourself a Spanish SIM card? Well, I recommend going to the stores of the mobile operators, Orange, Yoigo and Vodafone. You can get SIM cards there. There are also some resellers that will sell your SIM card, especially Yoigo, which actually has mass mobile stores. They have like random resellers in some malls. You can get SIM cards there, all good. But there are some resellers, let's say small corner shops or stuff like that, where registration will take much longer. So instead of the SIM card being active right now, it can take like days up to a week. So I recommend going to the official stores of the mobile operators or official authorized dealers / resellers. So that way you can use your SIM card immediately instead of having to wait like 3 days for no reason. As I said, SIM cards are also sold at Madrid and Barcelona airports. Maybe a few more, but I know that those are like the most popular airports and SIM cards are sold there as well. And as I mentioned, SIM card registration is mandatory. In most cases, you just hand over your passport, they fill in the details, or your ID if you're from another EU member state. Same for the EEAs, so that will include Iceland, Norway and Liechtenstein. Probably Switzerland too, I'm not 100% sure, but yes, you should be fine. Okay, so let's talk about speed, because I know that speeds are very important for me and also for most of the front office readers and watchers on the YouTube channel. So which mobile operator here is the fastest in Spain? Well, that will be Movistar. Movistar Spain has the fastest 4G LTE speeds with a median download speed of 52. It's ahead of Orange Spain, Vodafone Spain and Yoigo, and that's according to the market analysis of speed test. But what if we look at 5G NR? Is Movistar Spain still the best? No, not at all. In fact, it is the slowest for 5G NR right now. And Vodafone Spain is actually winning the race with a median download speed of around 190-200, which is, well, fast. And I can tell you, back in March of 2022, I went to Spain and the speeds I got at Vodafone, ridiculous. But you can learn more about that in my Vodafone Spain review that is somewhere on the eye on the screen. Vodafone is followed by Orange, Yoigo and Movistar, which has a median download speed of 5G and our download speed of less than 100, which is sad, I have to say. And if you think that, well, I don't really care about Spain and all, I need to go to the city with the fastest speeds, which, I mean, you know, even I am not that crazy. I would even like to explore the country. But worry not, you have to go to Barcelona. Barcelona has the fastest speeds, and then followed by Madrid, Valencia, and these two other cities that I'm showing you on the screen right now. Okay, so let's talk about coverage. Which mobile operator in Spain has the best coverage in the country? Well, honestly, all of them have actually almost, I wouldn't say close to excellent, yeah, okay, close to excellent 4G LTE coverage, because, well, they do a good job. But the one with the best 4G LTE availability would be Vodafone with the availability score of 89%, followed by Movistar and Orange with 88 and Yoigo with 82. And you should know that Yoigo is the newest mobile operator, so that's why they are slightly behind. But even then, 82% is great. And if you go to the most, visited cities, you'll be fine with actually all of them in terms of 4G. And when we look at the coverage experience, which is a score set up by OpenSignal, in the places where 4G LTE should be available, Movistar and Orange will have 4G LTE with a score of 9.5 out of 10, so meaning that if 4G LTE is available, you will almost always have 4G right there. And this is followed by Vodafone with 9.2 and Yoigo with 6.9. So that means that with Yoigo, you often fall back to 3G, which I mean, it's not too bad. But still, you want 4G, and it's 2022, you even want 5G probably. Speaking of which mobile operator has the best 5G NR availability? Well, surprisingly, that will be Yoigo, because they know that, okay, they are behind on their 4G coverage, so they want to be ahead of the race with 5G, and so far they're doing a quite good job with coverage with availability of 10.6%. That's then followed by Movistar, Orange and Vodafone, which is quite funny because Vodafone has the worst coverage, 5G coverage, but the fastest 5G speed, so things can change with new networks. Alright, so with all this information, which mobile operator here in Spain is the best? Which one do I actually recommend? Well, I actually recommend 3, yes, so not just one. I would recommend Movistar, Orange and Vodafone. So why is that? Movistar is actually the best overall. Yes, 5G, they are still behind, but if you look at things overall, like coverage, speed, overall network performance, with Movistar, you will have the best experience. I actually recommend Orange for the tourist SIM cards, the holiday pass, because they are very generous and they are actually cheap. For 15 to 25 euro, you get like a lot of data that can be used in many countries, a lot of minutes as well, very generous. And Vodafone I recommend because they have the fastest 5G NR speeds, and the speeds are like crazy. I think the fastest speeds I got back in March 2022 was 625, which by then was my record, but then I went to many other countries, and right now the record is in Australia with a download speed of 1 gigabit per second. So yeah, things change. So what about Yoigo? Well, Yoigo is cheap and they are doing a good job. You know, like I said, they're still new, but you have much better options right now. And when I say cheap, maybe we're talking about the 1 or 2 euro difference between the other operators. So yeah, the extra money will give you much better network experience. If you want to know about the best SIM cards all over the world, make sure to go to my best SIM card lookup tool at ptw.link/best. Type in a country and I will tell you which mobile operator or SIM cards are the best in that particular country. One thing I was wondering when I was in Spain the last time is if whether eSIMs are available to prepaid customers, and all of them they are not, and none of the mobile operators offer eSIMs. Now, I actually have some travel eSIM recommendation, and I have to tell you, if you want to have the best, you know, like the most generous data allowances, go with the mobile operators themselves and get yourself a SIM card. The main reason why you want to get the travel eSIM is for convenience and to skip or to avoid the SIM card registration regulations here in Spain, because it's mandatory, and with the 12 eSIMs you can skip them entirely. I will go through your options very quickly, and I would like to let you know that if you go to ptw.link/Spain-eSIM, you have a very in-depth guide related to the eSIMs I recommend. Actually 4 that I would recommend. The one is from Airlo called Gaia Mobile, giving you 1 to 5 or 10 gigabyte of data for, well, ridiculous low prices, up to, I think on top of my head, it's like 22 USD. Very good, have a good experience with them. They are amazing. If you want a little bit more data, go with Nobat, where they have a 20 gigabyte version, all good. Use code OTHER123 and you get 3 USD off your first order. And if you think all of that sounds like nonsense and want unlimited data, go with Holafly. The Spain eSIM gives you unlimited data for 5, 10, 15, 20, 30, 60 and 90 days. And I'm talking about truly unlimited data and with full 4G LTE speeds. And use code PhoneToWiz to get 5% off. If you're visiting multiple European countries, get the Eurolink eSIM. The same 4 options with the Gaia Mobile one, plus 50 and 100 gigabyte of data. And this can be used in 39 countries. You can watch my Airlo Eurolink review on the eye on the screen, and the same for the Nomad one that I also used in like 12 different countries for now, and maybe in 2023 I will do the remaining European countries. But like I said, for the most generous data allowances, go with the Spanish SIM cards themselves. Okay, with all of that chilling out of the way, let's talk about Raid Shadow. No, I'm not sponsored by that. Not more chilling. No, I'm gonna talk to you about the plans that are offered here, and we'll just mention one combo plan because this video is long enough, and it will give you an idea what I mean with, well, very generous data allowances and the low prices. Let's start with Movistar. Oh, by the way, the plans may change by the time you watch this video, so make sure to go to ptw.link/Spain-guide to see the up-to-date prices and offers. So the plans and price I mentioned right now are, you know, accurate at the time of recording. Let's start with Movistar Spain, where they have the plans, which I don't even think they have very dedicated names. I just call them plans. To activate these plans, you call 1200 and then you follow the instructions, which are also in English, worry not. And these plans offer 5G NR as well. So you have these 4 options with 5, 10, 15 euro. Starting with 5 gigabytes, 21, 45 and 75 gigabytes. I told you, like, so much data for such low prices. Canada can learn from Spain. Now, Canada likes to whop you when you are there. Then you also have minutes for local use and in other EU countries, meaning that if you travel to, let's say, neighboring Portugal, you can still use your minutes there as well. And the same for your data allowance. So the 75 gigabytes that you can use in Spain, you can also use in any other EU country. Very cool, very great. And the validity is always 28 days, aka 4 weeks. Now we have Orange Spain, also with plans with no dedicated name. If you decide not to get the holiday pass, you get a regular Orange SIM card, then you can get one of these plans and text the activation code to 1470. Yes, 1470 to activate these plans. 4 different options: navigate, go all, go on, go fly. With 7, 10, 20, 35 gigabytes of data. Here we do have dedicated EU EEA roaming allowance, so you cannot use your full 7 gigabyte of data allowance for the cheapest plan. For example, you can only use 4.5 gigabytes in, let's say, neighboring Portugal. Then you get your minutes, which is advertised as limited, but you only get like 5,000 minutes, which I think is more than enough, and all valid for 28 days or 4 weeks. Then we have Vodafone. Well, with Vodafone, you buy a SIM card and you get the plan, but you can also change your plans on the Vodafone app. So let's say you first buy the 10 euro one and you later want the 40, you can do so. You don't have to go to the Vodafone store to do this. And these plans include 5G NR as well. As you can see, 5 different options: 10, 15, 20, 30, 40 euro, starting from 12 gigabytes of data all the way up to 55. Roaming allowances are still generous, starting from 7 gigabytes of data to 25. You get unlimited on-net minutes, so from Vodafone Spain to other Vodafone Spain numbers. Off-net minutes, so calling from, let's say, Vodafone Spain to Movistar Spain, and minutes to Romania, which is for both fixed and mobile numbers, and international minutes, and that's including to all EU/EEA countries, plus Australia, Canada, the United Kingdom, and the United States, and a few others, once again, over 28 days, aka 4 weeks. And last but not least, we have Yoigo with 5 different options as well. You have the 9.90 euro one and the 10 euro one, and I actually went to Yoigo and asked them, like, is that correct? Because for 9.90 you get 100 megabyte and for the other one you get 10. It's correct. Why do this pricing? I don't know, they don't know, it is what it is. But for 35 euro you can get 150 gigabytes of data. So when I say that Yoigo is cheap, they actually are. But like I said, the network quality is at the moment not the best. In fact, it's actually the worst. So it is what it is. And of course you get minutes, and with Yoigo, unlike all the other operators, these plans are valid for 1 full month instead of 4 weeks. So that's what you need to know about Spanish SIM cards. A lot of options, a lot of generous data allowances, and well, good networks all throughout the country. Which mobile operator are you gonna go with? Are you gonna go with Movistar because they are the giant, or are you gonna go with Vodafone because you want to have the fastest speeds? Let me know in the comments down below. And like I said, in Spain the prices, they do change, but not as much, like about once a year, maybe twice a year, and usually in your benefit. So maybe the price stays the same, but you get more gigabytes of data. And if you go to ptw.link/Spain-guide, you can always see the up-to-date prices up there. For more in-depth analysis of the specific mobile operators, make sure to check out my Explored series or the playlist, which is on the eye on the screen, and the same for my Spain reviews, which are also on the channel. That's it for today, and I will see you in the next one. Bye bye.